Put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
Welcome to the Bleaves Crypto Show. My name is Bleaves. We're here to talk about this crazy crypto world. And I'm coming to you live from Bleaves Studios in Cleveland, just outside of Chicago. Look it up on your map. It's there. So today's a very sad day in America. Political ally Charlie Kirk passed away. And I'm not sure how that will affect markets in crypto. But if you pray, be a good day to pray for his family. If you don't, be a good day to at least wish him well. And I don't know what to say about it other than that. I think I said everything in a video yesterday, and I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. And we're going to move on. We're going to focus on crypto. Today's show, I think, is going to be a little bit shorter than normal. We're going to try some new things. We are branching out for those of you who are wondering. Make sure, by the way, that you hit the like button on the way in. And we're going to be making a slight change, and we will be available again on Spotify. And I'm going to be working through that today, tomorrow, and through the weekend, so that starting, I think, on Monday, you might see it today as a test run, but on Monday, we will be on Spotify as a podcast over there as well. So that way, instead of just looking at my ugly face, you'll be able to hear my soothing, incredible, dashing voice on your car stereo, if you will. So that might make it a little bit easier. And then in the meantime, with that of course means that I'm going to be transitioning over where I won't be showing you as much data maybe as I had before, or at least I'll be trying to talk my way through that data so that you know what price points we're going to use for buying and selling. But other than that, I got great news for you. It's altcoin season. The altcoin season index has just popped 78. It had a big move in the last 24 hours, and we are now officially in altcoin season. And because of that, get ready to see some potential massive gains. Now, zooming out here, let's go back and remember the last time we got this altcoin season, this is what happened leading up into it. If the question right now is, how long will it happen? The last altcoin season that we got, if you remember over here, it was from December 2nd. We really kind of crossed over up until December 8th or December 9th. So we really didn't see an altcoin season in the way that we would normally or have felt it. The average days between seasons was 274 days, by the way, before we got back here. The average number of days between those seasons is generally 70. The longest streak without one was 486, but the average length is 17 days. So we are breaking into altcoin season right now. So over the next couple of weeks, we should see some remarkable gains. So fingers crossed to everybody that we have a nice big movement. Now, the market seems to be moving in a positive direction. We were up about $50 billion a few hours ago before retracing back down $5 billion. And then the U.S. August CPI came out. Inflation rises to 2.9%, in line with expectations of 2.9, which is not, by the way, the markets are pricing this in and saying that's okay. Not great. It's okay because it's what we expected to see. But we expected to see this based on hot inflation data coming in. And that's not a great sign. That does mean that inflation has become a little less transient and a little more sticky. than what we originally thought that it was going to be. Now, core CPI rises to 3.1 in line with expectations. It's now at its highest level since January of 2025, which means that what Trump has been doing right now only appeared to work for the last couple of months because the tariffs are now being passed on to consumers a lot faster than they were before. Now, because of that, Trump will have to make some moves, and hopefully, I think we have, look, it was 90 deals in 90 days, and that was in March or April, I want to say. We're in September, and we have like 3 deals. So this has become a lot more difficult than I think what Donald Trump really likes. So, perhaps we're going to see some relief coming very, very soon. Now, I do want to say it is my belief that the relief that we get will come from gas and oil prices. Now, when we say that, average gas by month, are we seeing any relief at this point? And to this point, we have seen zero relief, okay? Gas prices on average in March and even going back to December of last year, $3. So these gas prices have been particularly sticky. However, we should point out oil prices, the oil prices have been, matter of fact, guys, I got to do this because I can't take this shit anymore. Got to turn that off. Whoo, God damn. Oil prices have been mid. But for some reason, gas prices still out of control. Very weird scenario. Very, very odd that is happening. And God damn it. Very odd that that's happening. But it's a testament to price gouging. I mean, basically, and, all of the, we're just trying to, it's tough to supply and stuff like that. But listen, for anybody who's been paying attention to oil and gas prices like I do, it is projected that we're going to have a surplus of oil next year. So if we don't get that breakdown that we're looking for right now, and we haven't felt it across the country, there are pockets, by the way, anybody who's near a Buc-ee's, again, I know I harp on that, but I mean, they manipulate their price and people don't like it, but hey, guess what? Cheap gas is cheap gas at this point. So it's not optimal, but we'll start to see prices come down very, very soon. I guarantee it. That we're going to see prices start to diminish very quickly. So that's what's going to fix inflation, because it's the cost of transporting goods. It's the cost of taking food from one location to a grocery store near you so that you can buy it. All these price increases, all these things are happening, just a bad timing sort of thing. But I assure you, all right, I believe in the tariff process, by the way, despite you guys know how I feel about the president. I think this is going to work in the long term. So I'm pretty happy to see what's going on, and I hope that you guys are too. Anyway, markets are now pricing in a 75 basis point rate cut by year end while CPI inflation continues to rise. The labor market is simply too weak to ignore. Next week is going to be a big week. So now the inflation, inflation rate. Oh, wait, we should do rate cut. Current rate cut bets right now. We need to look at them because we need to get an idea of what's happening here. So we've got 88.7% pricing in a 25 basis point cut. We have 11.3% at a 50 to 75 basis cut. Now, if you look at it right here, 1 month ago, it was 85%. If you look at it 1 week ago, it was 96% for a 25 basis point cut. 1 day ago, it was 91%. Today, it's 88. We are starting to see a reversal. And by the way, we were also pricing in no change. Those no change bets have now become massive cuts. Okay, so if we get a 50 to 75 basis point cut, this market will continue to move in the positive, and it will continue to soar. So good news all around in that regard. Now, Ali Martinez says 2 scenarios for XRP. Break 305 and surge to 360, which seems like a reasonable estimation of at or near the top of its previous all-time high, or retrace to 280, break 290, and then surge to 360. Which one are you leaning towards? Well, it's altcoin season. We just got the flag of altcoin season. The most likely scenario should be the break to 305 and the surge to 360. So expect a retracement coming very, very soon. The fact that that got triggered, altcoin season got triggered. Guess what? People are going to start aping. People are going to start aping. Guess what's going to happen? The market makers are going to start dumping into that, because that's how they make their living, by killing your enthusiasm, scalping you, forcing you to sell, and then buying in at a lower price so that you then have to rebuy on top of it, and they take your money. That's the way that it works. It's the way it's always worked. It's the way it's going to continue working. Also, Kindly MD's Nakamoto subsidiary pledges $30 million for Metaplanet to do a Bitcoin equity offering. So if you didn't know, Metaplanet wants to raise another $1.4 billion, I think it was, in order to buy more Bitcoin. So Metaplanet stepping up big time. We've got Sailor's strategy continuing to step in big time. These guys are buying up the Bitcoin. They are now owning an exorbitant amount of the supply. And by the way, I don't think that that's good overall for the sovereignty of Bitcoin as we know it. But Bitcoin's going through a fundamental shift, and so is cryptocurrency going through. They are going through epic shifts right now, and those epic shifts will lead to a lot of positive movement in the Bitcoin price. And I think that's going to be the important part for us. And I think that over time, somebody is going to fail, and this experiment to hodl more Bitcoin will not play out the way that you think it will. Some of those debts for strategy, they're going to come due. Michael Saylor at some point is going to be forced, or could be forced, to sell some Bitcoin. Metaplanet, again, they're doing the same thing. They're just issuing they're just issuing bond in order to or they're issuing stock in order to buy more Bitcoin. They're taking out these loans, and those are going to come due at some point, and that does mean that you will have to sell. Now, the average price, I think, for Michael Saylor, somewhere in the neighborhood of $70,000 per Bitcoin. So they are up a remarkable amount. And to be fair, if he dumps a little Bitcoin, guess what? He makes himself whole, and they've made an enormous profit as a business, strategy. But otherwise, they could be, look, if none of this comes true and I'm wrong about that, then they're going to continue to accumulate, and they're going to continue to accumulate. And it's going to be a very, very interesting time. And by the way, I do think that means the price is going to go so much higher. But even Michael Saylor will have a spot in which it is just no longer fiduciarily responsible to continue to hold Bitcoin. You only live for so long, as we found out yesterday. You only live for so long, and you might as well enjoy what it is that you have, and build your strategy around yourself and not around whatever it is that Saylor's doing right now. So there's going to be a moment in time where selling is going to look like the thing, and his board, they're going to force him to sell at some point. Again, those loans are going to come due. So I'm concerned about it, but also El Crypto Professor, the Mustache Man, says, the way many altcoins are looking, I think it's about time for the next wave up. Guess what? We just hit altcoin season. Floki is still in a right-angled descending broadening wedge. Higher time frame looks great. There it is. Right. And to be fair, like this guy's living off of the millions he's being paid for the board of directors. I'm not. That has nothing to do with Bitcoin. Not everybody is going to agree with what he's doing. They're going to want profit. And if you're telling me that holding the Bitcoin is more important than making the $1 trillion for the company that answers to stockholders is what the stockholders want, that's ludicrous. There will be a sell-off at some point. There will be a sell-off. It's not a private company. It's a publicly traded company. And we are excited for him as long as we're excited for him. But when that price, when we've got top indicators, which, by the way, bang, we have one cycle top indicator that has now popped out, We are now at 1 of 30 with a 97% hodl. And that one is the altcoin season index. Because we've hit altcoin season, one of these has now been hit. So now it's time to start considering what we're going to do next. And are we going to continue to hodl? Because now Bitcoin dominance is starting to pop. Look at this, 88%. Bitcoin long-term holder supply is at 87%. Some of these triggers, the trend indicator, some of these triggers, they're going to start going off. And what does that mean? What does that mean? That means that we might be getting near a top. So it's going to be interesting what happens over the next little while. So consider becoming and a member of the channel. It's $4.99 a month. Helps me out tremendously to provide you and continue to provide you with the content that I do. Also, if you are into risk-based gaming, TerraCasino.io is your place to go. If you're a fan of Luna Classic and you want to trade meme coins, Terraport.finance is your place to do it. And if you haven't already, consider checking out Meme Linked and maybe get yourself a little bit of a bag. Everything, look, there's little dips that we're having in these markets, and there's opportunity on the table. And by the way, doesn't matter what you think of anybody. What matters is, can you make money off of it? Speaking of making money, guess what? DevE is actually having a move. Now, they just posted for the first time in 11 days. Good morning. We're about to start a huge marketing push across our socials, starting with the CoinMarketCap community, one of our most rapidly growing platforms. Want to keep on top of our updates there? You need to follow us on CoinMarketCap. Clicking on CoinMarketCap takes us to the DevE community. I am not. By the way, I think, let me pop in here and see what happens here if I do this, because the last time, like, they had banned me. Look, account not found. All right, so let's go back here and let's log in with that and not use that. This account has already been banned. I don't even know what I got banned for on CoinMarketCap. I don't even use CoinMarketCap for anything to the point that I need to log in. Like, how wild is that? Like, let me pop this one more time and see what happens here. Yeah, this account has already been banned. As a matter of fact, somebody from CoinMarketCap reached out to me not that long ago to become a become a subscriber, to do something, right? They wanted me to produce content over there. I'm like, well, when you unban me, I will. And he's like, you could just make a new account. I'm like, you know what? Get away from me. Unbelievable. Anyway, so if you want to follow DevE in CoinMarketCap, then you might be able to check that out and see something that happens because of it. Also, Definity, a couple hours ago, significant institutional capital has been poised to enter the crypto market. While ETFs offer one avenue of participation, Definity delivers a more cost-effective, efficient, and flexible alternative through the direct crypto spot trading. So there's also Definity. I think that Definity is going to run. I believe that some of these projects are going to absolutely take off. DevE, to me, once that announcement is made, if that announcement is valid, if I'm right about all of these things, then we're talking about, to me, $70 DevE by the end of the year. I don't know that that's going to be the case. That, to me, is the most tremendous potential upside to it. And by the way, just for full disclosure, you really have to look at CoinGecko, I think is the one. Yeah, we're going to compare a market cap over here for CoinGecko. If you're looking at, what is it going to look like if you have DevE and you're going to go to, let's look at CoinMarketCap one more time, because we're going to cheat on CoinGecko with CoinMarketCap right now. What I think is going to end up happening is we're going to go to a 5 billion market cap, okay, which is where Monero is right now. So if we were to go to Monero level, DevE price can be $57. That's what I think is going to happen. The markets think that if it were to happen, it would go a little bit higher, and that would go into this like 6 to 7 million. Where Polkadot is at 6.7. If we were to change this to DOT, most likely goes to $70. You know what I mean? And then what I think is going to happen immediately is I think that once the announcement, and if the announcement is valid, look, I don't know. I think that I know, but 1 billion market cap right now is Arrow. So if we were to look at it from this context, if it goes to where Aerodrome is, $12, which was my original target, just for full disclosure, guys, just so you know, my original target here was 1 billion market cap, just as kind of a proof of concept sort of thing. Right now trading at 49 cents, going up to about $12. Then I think from $1 billion, then I think that's where we get that surge after a little consolidation. And then it goes up to 5 billion. And we start to see that same move that we just saw with MYX. Remember, all of these things that are happening right now are going to be based on partnerships. It's going to be based on what people are saying, what people are doing. And then let's say, what if it goes to like SWE level? And the reason that I say that is because Franklin Templeton is the big partner for SWE, one of the big partner, right? Luna Classic Maxi says, how is Dev going to be as big as Arrow? Please help me understand. Well, Devi's partner is NASDAQ. They're about to announce a listing. They're about to announce that for those of you that don't understand what's going on with NASDAQ, let's go over here and let's look at what's going on with NASDAQ. And here's the thing. NASDAQ has not revealed who their partner is, okay? That's what matters the most, okay? So now NASDAQ has all these videos going around right now of this young lady right here talking about the future of NASDAQ with Chaya, blah, 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 whatever his fucking name is. And he's having this conversation about this right here. NASDAQ files with the SEC to allow tokenization and blockchain listings of stocks. Okay. They have announced that they have a blockchain. Avalanche is winking, but it's not Avalanche. And that's what it comes down to. And nobody knows what blockchain they're using. Look, I'm 99.9% sure that I know who it is. All right. And by the way, we're talking pie in the sky stuff. Okay. For anybody who's wondering, pie in the sky stuff. But the team is under an NDA. Nobody here is breaking kayfabe, if you will. I'm pretty sure that it's NASDAQ. By the way, the reason that I think that's the case is they used all of the same wording. This is the only thing that I have for it. They used all of the same wording as I did, as I saw NASDAQ using when I made this video on November 10 of 2023, okay? Because NASDAQ was moving into the market, okay? They were moving into the market. They had some stuff going on. They had all these kind of cool things happening, it kind of in the background, stuff like that. And, you know, this is what they were doing, right? Well, then Dev E comes along a year and a half or a year later, and guess what? It's the same sort of scenario. Now, if you are not convinced and that doesn't convince you, that's okay. Not everybody's cut out to make it. Not everybody's going to make it. Okay. Now, let me take it a step further. What does Dev E offer? Instantaneous settlement. No risk because because of your keys, if you will. You don't have any risk in the game because if somebody steals from you on their platform, you can reverse the transaction. If you didn't authorize it, okay? There's a clearinghouse. There's everything that you need for instantaneous settlement. Do you want to take a guess in this 2-minute and 34-second video what was being said? Instantaneous settlement. Security to prevent theft. All of the things that Dev E runs on is what they're talking about right now. All of the key points that Dev E has been trying to illustrate for the last year is exactly what NASDAQ is saying. So I'm pretty sure that NASDAQ is about to announce that their partnership is with an up-and-coming blockchain called Dev E, and boom, it is going to go absolutely nanners, as they say. That is the reason why. There you go. When the CEO of NASDAQ was talking, it kind of sounded like she was talking about Dev E. They're using the same words. They're using the same verbiage. They're using all of the same things that you would expect for a partnership, okay? I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying that I think that it is. I'm saying that I'm willing to wager that it is. And in the event that it's not, I'm going to be okay with that, because I would also think that whoever the partner is going to be substantial. Could it be bigger? Yes. How could it be bigger? Well, that's complicated, but I think that that would make it the New York Stock Exchange or something like that. Like, it would be even bigger. So, and look, if it's not, and it's something worse, we're still going to see a magical pump. Okay. We won't see $70, but I don't think that I think that the odds are that that's who it is. Okay. You know what I mean? So that's why that's what's going on. Now, looking through the market right now, MIX finally starting to correct, down 6.6%. That means, by the way, since MIX is now having a little bit of a dump, I don't know. I don't know if it's done. I don't know if it's going to continue. I don't know what is happening. Mantle up 10% on the day. Form down 18%. WLD down 11%. Linnea down 25%. HNT up 15%. TWT is down up 7%. So look, mixed bag. A lot of red in the market, but a lot of green in the market as we're starting to see these little moves happening over here. All right. PTB 13%, PEAQ 13.6%, Rex down 20%. Again, mixed bag of what's going on. Now let's close that out. Let's look at the fear and greed index. Jesus fucking Christ, that ad every day drives me out of my goddamn mind. 54 on the fear and greed index. Going to see the need. Jesus fucking Christ. I can't even speak English today. We're going to need to see a little bit more out of it before we change our thesis that it's coming down. Okay, so inflows on the Bitcoin market right here, 6.65K, 741 million, meaning massive inflows into the Bitcoin ETF. What about the Ethereum ETF? What did we see here yesterday? We saw massive inflows into the Ethereum ETF as well, 171 million, back on track, up to 12.8 billion. We've seen massive inflows everywhere. So now, where does that leave the market? The market's only up $8 billion on the day. We're not seeing big movements out of it, but we are seeing the potential for a breakout. Now, moving on to Bitcoin at 114,080 right now as we speak. The market looks like it's ready for another big and bold move. Now, what I don't like is some of the structure at the bottom of the range there. Would like to see some bigger wicks showing some enormous buy pressure right there. But that's just my brain. If I look at it on a shorter time frame, I might be feeling a little bit different. Clearly, over the last few days, we've had a reversal from that bottom at 107.8. Now, in looking at it, there is a channel that formed, and that channel takes me down to an area between 90 and 95,000. I could see a breakdown into that range. But like I told you guys 2 days ago, I would also not be surprised to see it move up and come into that next surge range of 135,000 before it starts to break down. Now, in the event that that happens, when we look at the Fibonacci retracement from that potential bottom to that potential top, then we're looking at we're looking at a breakdown that becomes 105,000 or 100,000 as opposed to 90 to 95,000. If we get that surge, then we could be looking at Bitcoin making a nice run. As far as XRP goes, XRP is looking to break out above $3.05. If it breaks out above $3.05, which is these little wicks right there at the top of that range, was used as support and resistance a couple of different times. If it breaks above that range, also, by the way, the 50-day moving average is sitting at 301 right now on the daily. So again, a break above that, which you can see that it's been testing for 3 days now, a break above this will send it up to this top one more time for another big test of the all-time high at $3.66. So then if we can get a breakout of that range, then we're talking about 420, which I think is going to be the next target area. And then we'll see a breakout, and that breakout's going to go between $6, which most analysts are going to tell you they believe that $6 is the next price target for but it's going to be between 6 and 750. So I would look for a $6 to $7.50 move from XRP coming very, very soon. If in fact we are in altcoin season, and if in fact we do see a surge on Bitcoin, the capital that comes into this market comes from Bitcoin, cascades down into what I think is going to be Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and then it cascades down to the rest of the broader market. So that's what I think is going to happen with XRP. Ethereum is coiling up, and look at that. There's a beautiful reversal happening right now off of the 50 MA. It's not even touching it. It's still been up a little bit higher, probably at the 45-day MA. I'm not going to put too many of them up there, but I think this means that there's a surge. That surge that I think we're going to get on Ethereum. Again, there is a possibility of that breakdown still on the table, but if not, then I think we're going to get a surge for Ethereum back to the all-time high, 49.56. And then I think we're going to get a breakout, and we're going to see Ethereum run to about 6,000. So if you have 167 Ethereum right now in your wallet, you will have $1 million, I think, in a very short period of time. I think that it's destined for that big, big move. Now, that's going to be about a 20% gain, and nothing wrong with gaining 20% off of Ethereum, especially if you're using a leverage position. 20% gain on 5x is 100%. So you want to double your bag, maybe Ethereum is your bet right now. Solana has a much longer way to go and has been much stronger in this so far. Today, Ethereum starting to move a little bit more than Solana, which to me is a good sign that altcoin season is in fact ready to break out. And then that takes us to, where would Solana go? And look, previous top on Solana is $295. The previous test is about $265. So somewhere between 265 and 290 is where I think we're going to see a rejection. But ultimately, I think it's going to continue to pump, and we'll see it hit 360 in very short order. So I think that Solana is primed for an exceedingly rapid move to some brand new all-time highs. That takes us to OM Mantra. Mantra is sitting at 21.3 cents right now. Again, breaking down from slightly from right there. I told you yesterday I thought it would test the 50 MA, and guess what? It went down to test the 50 MA. Now, with that being the case, the question is, will it break below, or will it have some momentum to break back above? And the question right now, I don't have the answer for. I like to think that we would have a break to the upside, but as money is flowing back into the market, we've had a significant sort of pump. I mean, look, 2 cents is not a whole lot, but when you take it from the bottom, and the buyers who bought at the bottom, and they're at 10 or 15% profit, 10 or 15% profit for a large cap is where you're going to get people starting to take profit, right? So that's what we got right now. We've got people taking profit on OM. We've got a move down right now at the 0.45 right there, which I told you that's the most popular bounce area. It's bouncing at 0.45, which means that if it does that and it holds and it doesn't continue to break down to that 50, which currently is at exactly 21 cents, and it's the 0.5 area, if it doesn't break down to that level, then I would expect another immediate test of that 22.4 high at 22.4 cents, and then a potential breakout. So again, we could be looking at a big move on OM, so I would keep that on the radar. Devi just broke out to 50 cents a few minutes ago, almost 50 cents, I should say. Zoom out here, 49.82 cents. Didn't break above 50, sold off just a little bit a couple of hours ago, but not very much. Still sitting around that 49-cent range. If it does, then there is a breakout on the table for DevE coming up into that 55 to 70 cent range. So I do think that there'll be some rejection here. All right, 55 cents, and every 5 cents thereafter, I think we're going to start to see what we're made of right there. Again, the ultimate move here would be 60 to 70 cents. Investor confidence probably going to be predicated on, can you get above your previous sort of dump level? And I mean, if you look at it from this context, you've seen that breakout above there. If you look at it from this context, or if you look at it from, you're not finding enough data points really to give you confidence in, it's been kind of herky-jerky, if you will. Maybe you can look at this and say this kind of right there. If that's the case, then that looks like a move to 60 cents is going to be the move, but it's going to have to break it out of there. Brian says, I need mantra to go to $4. I don't need it to go to $4, but I sure would like it. I sure would like it if it went to $4. I've been accumulating every day, just so you guys understand, every day I'm buying more mantra. So I really have a sense and a feeling that we're going to see a big move. But Devi moving up to 60 cents and then breaking out above into that 75-cent range. Oh, by the way, I know Maddie B was over here talking smack about it. Maddie B was over here talking smack about it at 10 cents and at 15 cents and at 20 cents because he's jealous that he didn't get in on it when it made a whole bunch of money, right? He just, he whiffed and he missed and he's sad. So he's hoping that it never goes anywhere. But again, they're going to have a big partnership. They're going to have a big announcement, and it's going to absolutely break out. Now, I told you that getting into Fiat would serve you very well when it was down here at 1.5 cents. If you got in and you got that 2.2 cents, I hope you took your profit along the way. Mantra, OM. Fiat right there. A nice big breakout. I told you that was going to happen. Then I told you to sell when you got up here to the top. I hope that was you that was selling over here. But now it's starting to accumulate in between the 50 and the 200 MA. Also, in looking at it on the 4-hour, like many other projects right now, we're about to get a golden cross. It's moving this way over the next couple of days. You're going to get a golden cross. It would be my estimation that, remember, Devi, which this is the game token for the Devi ecosystem, that right there tells me that we're consolidating in this range. Doesn't mean there won't be a little dip here back down to test this little wall right here at 1.7 cents. But I would say that there's probably going to be a significant move on Fiat again one more time. I'm not going to buy at this spot. However, I'm going to sit back on the sidelines, hold my Devi, and hope that that one moves. But I would like to see it come down here. I'm going to be shrewd in my move. If it comes down into that, if it comes down to 1.6 or 1.5 cents, I'm going to throw a few $1,000s in there because it likes to move pretty aggressively. And we see that over and over again. When it gets down here to these bottoms, it moves pretty well back up there. And I don't need to make $1 million, but I don't mind making $1,000 or $2,000 off of a move. You know what I mean? So boom. Yeah, me married to some foreign broad. Can you imagine? She doesn't even speak English. Like, Jesus Christ. It's not even her second language. You know what I mean? His second language. Whatever. Look, just because he's trans doesn't mean that we're getting married. Although it's legal, I think, somewhere. All right. VeChain. VeChain has been very, very dormant and very, very quiet for a little while. I don't think that's going to last much longer. It's too many partnerships, too many different things, too much exposure that VeChain is getting with UFC, with all these different partnerships that they're doing. Dana White constantly talking about it. Everybody who's anybody. Who's the one with the lips? God damn it, what's her name? Wendy O. She just went on a bull riding expedition or a horse something expedition. I don't know what the fuck was happening over there, but I saw something on Instagram where she's at some kind of rodeo, courtesy of VeChain, which means that they are leaning into, I want to say red state events. UFC, I think is kind of I think combat. I think that the quote unquote red states really like combat based stuff. Also cowboys, bull riding, conservative values, places where conservative values are very strong and where certain sports are very strong. VeChain is leaning into, and I think that serves them very, very, very well. I'm not trying to politicize VeChain, but I think that they're smart and wise about what they're doing. So what I see from VeChain is higher floors right here, 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 here. We're on our way up clearly, but we don't have a breakout of this structure yet. So the other part is right there to whoosh, wrong button, here to here to here. it looks like it's generally in an uptrend if you get out of this area. Now, this is only the 4-hour chart, so it looks like the reversal is underway. The one thing that I'd be nervous about is this move right there. So there's going to be some break above, let's call it 2.6, 2.7 cents, 2.7 cents. That's when we're going to see some movement out of VeChain. Remember, the last time VeChain took off, let's go back to the daily so that we can see when it actually took off. It actually took off in November of last year and went from 2 cents up to 7.9 cents, 8 cents, up to 8 cents exactly. So that's the kind of move. That's the kind of move that I expect we're going to see. The high, by the way, is 27.9 cents. So if we zoom out a little bit, we get some perspective here. That pump right there was nothing on this radar, okay? And remember, this was the last altcoin season, the last true altcoin season. This is the last banana zone altcoin season that we saw right here. So, the question is, can we get that level again back in 2021 when we ran up to almost 28 cents? And we haven't seen that yet. That last altcoin season in November of 2024, that was insignificant ultimately. Ethereum didn't even hit its all-time high. Very few things actually hit their all-time high. Even when we had a big pump from Cardano, not even close to all-time high. Even though we've had some significant pumps on Crow, not even close to all-time high. Some of these older projects, Fetch AI broke out to an all-time high during that time frame. HBAR, not even close as well. Like so many different things. And by the way, there's a lot to like about Hedera, and we'll be talking about that over the next couple of days. But there's a significant, look, we got a significant move happening here. I think it's starting. I think we're going to feel it. I'm not sure this is the one, though, just to be very, very clear here. If we look at it from total 3 right here, we are near the all-time high. If we look at it from total 4, for those of you that don't know, is DeFi, and that is decentralized finance. The top of decentralized finance was 200 billion market cap, all right? We're at 135 billion market cap, which means that outside of Bitcoin, outside of Ethereum, outside of the bigs, outside of those top 100s, right? We have not even come close to the previous tops. And if we match the move, if we match the move on that double top from last time, which there's no reason to think that we would, but also if we're doing that, there's no reason to think that we won't either. All right. What I would say is that seems pretty high to me, but it doesn't take much to get there. Okay. I think that we are headed in DeFi to about a $520 billion market cap. We are going to see a DeFi breakout in this bull run. We're going to see so many different people coming into DeFi. And by the way, don't forget that the obstacles to DeFi, the current obstacles to DeFi are the US government, the European government, the Chinese government, okay? But the US government, they softened their approach. So we're going to see money entering DeFi. Think about this, okay? Devi at this point is considered in that DeFi vein. And go through a list of DeFi projects. They're not really available on large scale in the United States because exchanges are not allowed here, because they made it too difficult. There are a lot of different things that are just not allowed in the United States that would make all of this so much better and so much easier. They're not allowed. So when the US comes up with the Clarity Act and we get some clarity on this, then we could see just an absolute breakout of decentralized finance. That's what people ultimately want. They want to be able to control their own money. That's what DeFi provides you with. Remember, when you're in a centralized exchange in a non-decentralized manner, if you're on a centralized exchange, you do not control your money. You are entrusting Coinbase. You are entrusting Kraken. You are entrusting all of these exchanges with your money. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. And the ones with approval in the United States, those are good ones to be in if you're going to be in, because they're the most regulated exchanges. But don't forget, we thought that FTX was very, very safe, and it collapsed. So, I don't trust the centralized exchanges. I certainly don't trust Coinbase. I certainly don't trust any of them. But with Devi, your wallet will be attached to their exchange, so you will still be in control of your funds. Your money is what matters right there. Okay. DeFi is going to blow up. And as a matter of fact, just to be very, very clear, in the event that Devi does what I think it's going to do, that's going to be one of the catalysts that lead to something like that happen. Not because it's Devi, but because if Devi is right about what they think, which is that the way that they do business is going to be a paradigm shift, Coinbase will adopt it, Kraken will adopt it, everybody will start to adopt it. Your base wallet, which I don't know if you have a base wallet or use a phantom wallet, something like that, but your base wallet would probably be where you keep your money in order to transact on Coinbase instead of giving Coinbase your crypto, unless you want to stake it. So again, fundamental shift in the way business is done. I think that that's coming. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. So a big move for DeFi coming very, very soon. I don't know the catalyst. I hope that the catalyst would be something like Devi. I hope that it would be something that I'm holding. I hope that it would be something like Definity. I hope that it would be something like XVM, which I'm also holding. I hope it would be one of those, but something is going to happen. Something is going to happen big in DeFi. And that's why I'm excited by it. Now, moving down here, I'm going to give you a quick couple of them. Ondo, we're going to see Ondo, I think, break out to $1.17 over the next couple of, it looks like that surge is ready right now. We rejected yesterday off of the surge that took us to $1.06. But it didn't dip very far. So, we didn't get an enormous correction to the downside right there. So I think this is a pause before the next leg up, which I think, again, goes back to $1.17. Ondo's top previously is $2.14. And look at this, multiple times we've hit this trend line right here, going here and here multiple times, and then here multiple times. That tells me that Ondo is probably on its way to around $3.50. So I think Ondo scheduled for a big breakout. SWI, same thing, really. SWI had I don't know that I've given you kind of an aggressive move here on SWI, but I don't think that it's untoward to say that looks like it would, like that. It looks like that's what's going to happen. So I would say on SWI, look for a 2x, an easy 2x coming over the next 2 months or so. Again, there's going to be a lot of things that break out a lot higher than SWI, but as far as dollars, as far as money, I think SWI, which has a $12 billion market cap right now, going to a $25 billion market cap is probably a no-brainer at this point. API 3 broke down bigly. We made our profit at $1.50. We didn't get out at the top, but we got out pretty close to the top at $1.50. We accumulated some more at $1. It's down to 97 cents right now, touching the 50 MA. I think a big reversal is on tap for API 3 coming very, 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 very soon. Now, by the way, when Chainlink breaks out, API 3 is going to break out. Okay, that's my thesis. I don't have any reason otherwise, other than, I think that when Link absolutely starts to explode, and that we start to see Link do what can only be described as actual Link shit over here, and getting up into that $50 or $60 range, when we start to see the breakout on Chainlink, the competitors to Chainlink, all of them RWA, competitors to Chainlink are going to break out. And again, Chainlink is not broken out, but it continues to accumulate, it continues to build in this market, and it continues to bring on new clients. And look, it's going to go. It's going to absolutely go. By the way, in case you guys didn't forget here, at the beginning of the year, I told you guys that the high, that Chainlink, and by the way, I told you back in the middle of 2024 that by the end of the year, Chainlink would be $25. Actually went to $30. So don't doubt me, biatch. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to my wife, Maddie, B, the dude. So, you know, and that's not gay. It's not. Anyway, $25, and we hit $25 again. So again, RWAs are going to take off. This would be, to me, an indicator that RWAs are starting to heat up because we're starting to see that movement there off of this dip here in the middle of August. We got that big move, big rip up here into the $26, $27 range. Now we're getting a retest of the 50 MA. Perfect entry point, by the way. See what happens right there. So Manta to me looks dead, so we don't want to talk about that one. Ugh, gross. XCN. Let's look at XCN, Onyx Coin right here. Now, for those of you who don't know, Onyx Coin is just a mirror of Ethereum. I mean, that's really what it is, right? And I look, you can make an argument here. If I were looking at this and I were a big holder, all right, what I'd be looking at is we got a low right here. We got a higher high up here. We're breaking into this upward trend. There is an upward trend happening. Problem is, it seems like every time you get into that, you get a sell-off right here. Now, if we take that and we operate under that, we throw on, we're on the daily right now. We throw on a Bollinger Band. I'm going to zoom in here just so you guys can see it because just in my estimation, this thing is so tight right now. Yeah, this is really, really tight. The last time it got this tight, these bands, it was an enormous breakout from 0.008 up to 0.026, so a 3x the last time. So it would be my estimation right here that a test of these highs again at 2.28 cents would probably be in play, which means about a 2.5, 3x. But I mean, again, when you get real tight like that, and then you get these big moments here where the market is just pricing it in and you're getting that altcoin season, this is when these things break out. So if you don't already, grab yourself a bag of XCN, because to me, this looks like another breakout getting ready to happen. All right. And look, we're going to miss a lot of them. We're not going to get, we're not going to call every one, but that looks like it's ready for an absolute banger of a run. Let's take a quick look at MYX, by the way. MYX just continued to surge. It minted a newer high today. It's a red day, but it looks overheated. All right. MYX really looks overheated. I mean, look at this RSI down here. The last time that happened, there was a stiff correction, and there was about a 50% correction. So if we look at it from the virtue of a Fibonacci move right there, I would say a move back down to $10 is probably warranted. Do you have Shiba Inu? Yes, I do, but we don't really talk about Shiba Inu until there's something to talk about with Shiba Inu. There's not really anything to talk about with them, So we just kind of leave that in a spot bag that we're, fingers crossed on, hoping for something. Let's go back over here to Pendle, by the way. I do think Pendle is about to break out as well. Look at this uptrend that we're looking at right now, bounced off of, again, when we're looking at lows, we're looking at this low of $2. We're looking at the second low at $3. We're looking at this consolidation at $3.25. We're looking for this move that came down to $3.65. We're looking at this last move that was like $4.26. That is a remarkable uptrend happening right now. In Pendle, one of the big lending protocols, basically they borrowed Aave, for lack of a better description. So I do think that we're going to see a breakout from Pendle coming up very, very soon. I'm holding 10,000 Pendle right now, hoping that we get a nice little 2 or 3x off of it. I don't see it going beyond that. There is a potential for that to happen. There is a possibility for that to happen. When we look at it by market cap, Pendle's at an $843 million market cap. I don't think a lender goes above $5 billion because that's purely what Pendle is a lender. I don't see it going above 5 billion market cap, which is still significant. So again, maximum I could see here is about a 6x, taking it up into the $30 per coin range, which I'll take that, by the way. I will take that because I have 10,000 Pendle. So if that happens, nice. So there we go. Now let's get into DeFi. Let's get deep into DeFi here real quick. 24 hours here. We got Blocky having a little bit of a surge. We got Devi continuing to surge. Definity up about 3.5%. You know, like to see a lot more from when Definity hits about 4 or 5 cents, then I'll feel a little bit better about it. But we need to see, you know, it's the volume. We're looking for some significant volume out of it first. 100x Solana up 2%, Meme Linked up 2%, Bonk kind of dead even, Volt kind of dead even, WikiCat kind of dead even, TARS down 2%, API 3 down 3%, Fias down 3%, Mantra down 3%, Crocky down 18%, XVM, the new Volt, is down 25%, 15 million market cap right there, 25 million reversal. I think 26 million might have been where it went to yesterday. So that it was really having a good run, and it made a good attempt. Now the question is, will it break out? Because it was going back through this uptrend right here, and then it broke out to the side right here at that 786. Now that doesn't inspire any confidence in me. They are right now talking about they're going to make some pardon me, they're going to make some big moves, and they've got a major announcement coming at 12:30 today. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it matters. If I look at it from this standpoint, though, then I like the fact that there seems to be a small bounce here. The question is whether or not it's going to do anything from this location. You know, I'm in a chat with them, and I keep getting told to push and push and push, but they're not paying me. You know, I got paid for one video. That's enough for me. You know what I mean? Like, I reached out to them and I said, hey, you know, I could offer this kind of promo here. You let me know if you want to do that. And it's unread at this point, and I'm not really worried about it. But there is a potential for an uptrend, taking it up into the 28, 29 million range right there. You can make that argument. And if it breaks out above, if it breaks out above, then maybe it goes, you know, a good bit higher. And I don't know, you know, again, I think the team has a lot of money, and I think that they have a market maker that pumps this chart quite a bit, and it's still doing over $1 million in volume. It did $25 million in volume not that long ago. So I do think that there is some opportunity right there. But again, you know, you got to be smart about it. You got to find the spot where it's going to bounce. The last time you got the significant bounce, I mean, let's just, you know, kind of eyeball it. The last time you got that significant bounce, it took it up to 30 million market cap. If it bounces from here again, that takes it back into a $35 to $40 million market cap. So there is some potential there. So I'm going to keep watching it, and we'll see what happens. My bag was $375. It's currently $250. So it was up over $1,000, by the way, at one point. I was up like 3x. So I'm not really worried about it. And I didn't take the profit, by the way, at that time, because I thought long term, if it's going to do 100 million in that run, and we're at the spot in the market where things just go absolutely nanners for no reason other than community engagement, if we are in altcoin season, then I think that it's going to actually pump, that we'll start to see some retail drop in here, and we'll see a significant move. And by the way, it doesn't apply just to Volt. It applies to a bunch of different cryptos. So I think that's what's going to happen. So that's it, guys. That's the show. Thank you so much. Don't do that. Y'all should not do that. It's how the devil gets you. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, please consider hitting the like button. It certainly helps me out. And consider becoming a member of the channel. It certainly helps me out as well. It's $4.99 a month, and I give you inside information on whatever I've got going on so that you know and are informed. We get launches like Volt, which ended up doing that 3x. Don't forget, we did Puff, which did a 320x at one point. Meme Linked, which ended up having an absolute breakout. 100x Solana had a big run. You know, a lot of these have big runs, and we hold on to some of these bags just to see what happens. So that'll be it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to go work out right now. I think I need it after Charlie Kirk. So, and by the way, if you pray, today would be a great day to pray for his family. It's a sad day. It's a sad day for everybody. And it should be a sad day for, I mean, look, I can't tell you what to think. I hope that Erica Kirk becomes a lightning rod for this country in the next couple of months. I really hope so, because unfortunately, she's now in a position where she matters so much more than she probably ever thought she would. And I hope that she doesn't just quietly go away to raise her kids. I hope that she becomes a voice. I hope that the hysteria that has become the Democratic Party, I hope that that hysteria gets paused a little bit because of what's happened. I hope that we start to see an awakening of sorts from a lot of different people. I don't have a political party. I voted for Donald Trump twice now, but I voted for Joe Biden in 2020. So I guess you could say that whatever I vote for is the right thing to vote for, because I'm always right. But Charlie Kirk, to me, was a good man that just, we didn't agree with each other ideologically, but so what? We all live together. We all work together. We all commune together. And if we're going to get better as a nation, which we should, then it's going to take a whole lot more tolerance than what we're showing right now. And by the way, if you're blaming the Democratic Party, then that's insanity. Because you didn't blame the Republican Party when it was Dylan Roof. You didn't blame Derek Chauvin when he was standing on the neck of George Floyd. So don't start blaming the entire party for a radical lunatic. But also be aware that the radical lunatics are hiding in both parties, and they're making both parties seem less than what they currently are. The MAGA party, we should be calling it MAGA at this point, not Republicans. The Republican Party's dead. The MAGA party, they have beliefs, they have principles. They believe in a core set of values that don't directly align with the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party has a core set of values that don't align with the Republican Party, MAGA party. But so what? It's always been that way. From JFK to Martin Luther King to pick anybody else who's been assassinated. George McGovern, pick anybody, okay? It's always been like this. It always will be like this. It's really, at this point, it's just a matter of, can the media, and by the way, when you talk about the media, you sometimes talk about the liberal media, but there's two media arms, and both of them are dangerous to you as Americans. And I hope that as we grow into technology, we all realize that we're being manipulated by a lot of people from a lot of different directions, and hopefully we won't fall for it all. That's my time, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.
I'm looking for the good life, good life. Sitting on top of the world, I wanna be shining